Teachers, what's the most diabolical thing a student has ever said? I taught 9th grade English for 12 years and I thought I'd heard everything. Kids cursing me out, threatening to get me fired, the usual teenage drama, but nothing prepared me for what happened with this kid named Tyler in my 4th period class. Tyler was one of those students who looked like an angel but had the mind of a criminal mastermind. Blonde hair, innocent blue eyes, always polite to other teachers. But he had this way of getting under people's skin that was almost artistic. For the first month of school, he was actually a decent student. Turned in assignments on time, participated in discussions, never caused any obvious trouble. I started thinking maybe the other teachers who warned me about him were overreacting. Then October rolled around, and everything changed. We were reading Of Mice and Men as a class, and Tyler started asking these weirdly specific questions during our discussions. Not about the themes or characters, but about the timeline of events, about how the other characters reacted to certain situations. I figured he was just really engaged with the material, which was rare for 9th graders. I was actually proud that I'd gotten him interested in classic literature. But then came parent-teacher conferences in November. Tyler's mom, Mrs. Patterson, scheduled a meeting with me after school on a Thursday. She seemed like a nice woman, very concerned about her son's education. We sat down in my classroom and she immediately started crying. I don't know what to do about Tyler, she said. He's been acting so strange at home lately, asking me bizarre questions about my childhood, about my relationship with his father. Last week he asked me how I would feel if something terrible happened to me and nobody believed it was an accident. My blood started running cold. She continued. And yesterday he told me he's been writing stories for your English class about characters who get away with terrible things because everyone thinks they're innocent. He said his teacher thinks he's really talented and understands human nature. I had never assigned any creative writing projects. We were only doing reading comprehension and essays about the novels we studied in class. Mrs. Patterson, I said carefully, Tyler hasn't turned in any creative writing assignments to me. We haven't been doing that kind of work. Her face went pale. But he showed me the stories. They were typed up with your comments written in the margins. Red ink, just like teachers use. You wrote things like excellent psychological insight and very believable character development. That's when I realized what Tyler had been doing. He'd been writing these disturbing stories at home, typing up fake teacher comments and showing them to his mom to make her think I was encouraging his dark fantasies. But it got worse. Mrs. Patterson pulled out her phone and showed me screenshots of text messages Tyler had sent to his younger sister Emma, who was in 7th grade at the middle school. The messages said things like, "You better be nice to me or I'll tell everyone about what you did last summer, and I know how to make people disappear and everyone will think it was their own fault." Emma had been having panic attacks and refusing to go to school. She'd been telling her parents that Tyler was threatening her, but they thought it was just normal sibling rivalry until they saw the actual messages. "There's more," Mrs. Patterson whispered. Tyler told Emma that his English teacher taught him how to write believable stories about accidents that aren't really accidents. He said, "You've been teaching the class about how smart people can get away with anything if they're careful about it." I was horrified. This kid had somehow turned our discussions about literary characters and their motivations into some kind of psychological manipulation handbook in his mind, but the most diabolical part was still coming. Mrs. Patterson showed me one final screenshot. Tyler had sent his sister a message that said, "I asked Mr. Davis about this stuff and he said some people are just naturally better at understanding how other people think. He said I have a special talent for getting inside people's heads, so maybe you should think about that before you tell mom and dad about these messages." The kid had been using my name and reputation to terrorize his own sister, making her believe that I was somehow endorsing or encouraging his threatening behavior. I immediately called our school counselor and the principal. We had to involve the police because Tyler's messages to Emma could be considered threatening a minor. During the investigation, they discovered Tyler had been doing this for months, not just with his sister, but with other students too. He'd been telling kids that teachers had given him permission to collect information about their personal lives for creative writing projects. He convinced at least 6 different students to tell him their deepest secrets and fears by claiming it was for a class assignment that I had supposedly approved. Then he'd use that information to subtly manipulate them. Nothing dramatic enough to get caught, just small psychological games that made these kids doubt themselves and feel constantly on edge. When confronted, Tyler looked me dead in the eye and said with that same innocent expression, "But Mr. Davis, you did teach us about character motivation. You said the best characters are the ones who know how to use what they know about other people. I was just practicing what you taught us." The worst part was how he twisted my actual lessons. We had discussed how authors create realistic characters by understanding psychology, but Tyler had somehow interpreted this as a guide for manipulating real people. The kid got suspended for 2 weeks and had to switch schools. His family moved to a different district entirely after the police investigation. But for months afterward, I had to rebuild trust with parents who wondered if I really had been teaching students how to psychologically manipulate each other. Tyler had managed to damage my reputation, terrorize his sister, manipulate multiple students, and nearly destroy his family's peace of mind, all while maintaining this perfect innocent act. The most diabolical part wasn't what he said to me, it was how he used my name and authority to say things to other people that I never would have approved of. That kid understood manipulation in ways that honestly scared me. I still think about him sometimes and hope he got the help he needed.